All right, all right. Welcome back to More FLA Homes. If you're new to the channel, my name's Christian Clay. Alongside me is one of our real estate rock stars, Dan. How are you, man?
Great, great. How you doing? Another beautiful day here in Florida.
Another beautiful day in Florida. So, we're doing a community breakdown. We're going to talk about this community. We're going to talk about the amenities, the fees, home tours, all of that good stuff. But before we get started, I need to tell you something, Dan.
Uh-oh.
This right here brings me back to like when I first started real estate, right? When I first started real estate, because we're down in Sarasota, people, or the Sarasota County area. When I first started real estate, I used to ambitiously go to these communities and just learn, right? And then I used to be so proud of myself when I remembered and I started building and like, so the reason I say that is because Dan's one of our experts down in the Sarasota area. That's about 2 hours away from me, right? So Dan's the man
Yeah.
down there. He's teaching me. So this just brings me, like, I love it, right? It's the circle of life here. But talk to us. What community are we in today?
So today we're in Windward. It's a Neal community right here in Lakewood Ranch. The furthest south you can go in this community
Yeah.
or in this village. This is a big master surveillance community.
Yep, master. So let me show everybody just on the map before we press forward here. So here's Lakewood Ranch. For those of you who have been keeping up with us, we've done, I don't know, 4 or 5, I would say, communities in Lakewood Ranch, one of the biggest in Florida. Definitely number 1 ranking when it comes to, what is it number 1 ranking in, Dan?
It's multi-generational housing. Yeah.
There
So
you go.
you have a little bit of everything and number 1 rated, several times.
For sure. So we've done a community out here. We've talked a little bit about Waterside Place, which I visited. I absolutely adore. And then we're right below that. Now, Dan brought up one thing real quick. You're not too far from the beaches over here. You have shopping at your disposal right over here. But inside of the community, you have restaurants, you have medical, you have schools, you have anything you really want, right? It's like that hometown American town is the best way that I can describe. You actually have what, like 3 different town centers?
Yeah, 3 different town centers plus all the extra shopping centers that are around, like Publix plazas and Aldi's and those, but the 3 main shopping areas too.
So they get the idea of like, okay, this is almost like a city within itself, right? So we're talking about
Absolutely.
a little section within this community here. Now, me being just a smart pupil and just picking up on everything that Dan's giving to us, appreciate you for that. He told me one day that, hey, if you're in the Sarasota County area, you do not have a gated community. And then this community right here, or you can't have a gate, right, per like the county. So
Right,
this
right.
community
In the Lakewood Ranch, yeah.
in Lakewood Ranch, right? So this community,
Yeah.
the first thing that pops up, I'm like, this is a gated community, and it's in the Sarasota County area. Talk to us. What's going on with that?
So this is a little bit community got a head start on the whole section above it called Waterside. And so when Waterside was approved, none of the communities are going to be allowed to have gates. This Neal communities kind of beat that draw because they're not technically a part of Waterside, even though you can get a golf cart and take advantage of all the Waterside amenities. So you're a gated community in your own right. And then the Waterside areas got approved. And when those got approved, they were not gated. So you kind of get the win. You get all the Waterside amenities, but you get a gated community too.
Dude, man, checking so many boxes. Now, question for
Yep.
you. Do you have to go out and around to go to Waterside, or is there a cut through?
So yeah, so actually just come out of the neighborhood and then you just go down the sidewalk. So there's no cut through from neighborhood to neighborhood,
Okay.
but you literally just come out your gate, get on the sidewalk, which I see tons of golf carts doing anyway.
Right, right.
And then you're right into all the other stuff. And that's all of Lakewood Ranch too. I mean, that's most of Lakewood Ranch. You're going to come out of your community into other ones
Okay.
through golf carts and whatever
Well, good.
else.
I definitely wanted to bring that up because I'm like AI,
Yeah.
right? Like what I learn is what
Yeah.
I'll spit back to you, and then you're just like, oh no, I
Exactly.
forgot to tell you this one little thing. Okay, so
Oh yeah.
talk to us about this community. Like, how many homes are we expecting? What are the fees? And then we'll get into the amenities.
So this community's got been going for a couple years now. So they're coming probably near the end. I would say out of there's 780 total homes. They're probably 2/3 the way done.
Okay.
So you're going to have 18 single family home floor plans, and then you also have 3 villa home plans. So there's only villas and single family homes. Those are only 2 options. But your houses will range anywhere from 1,500 up to almost 3,000 square feet, 2,908. That's the single family, and then your villas are 1,400 to 1,550, and those are normally 2 bedroom, 2 bath with a den. So that den actually has a closet. So I don't know how they counted in, but it's a third bedroom. But they're
Oh, that's
small.
cool.
But
Yeah,
so you have the
we'll call
option.
it a 3. That's cool.
Den or a
They'll
bedroom.
price it as a 2-bedroom, and we'll take advantage of it as a 3-bedroom for our clients.
It's exactly. So,
Nice.
but yeah, what's nice is you do have a lot of variety, and you spoke about the location. You're at the south part. You shoot downtown Sarasota and Waterside, downtown Waterside. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
Now, what are the fees? Are there any differences between the single family and the villas that they're offering out here?
Yeah, so when you get into the villas, they're a little more maintenance free. So you get a little more higher fees because some of the insurance is covering all the roofs. But if you're in a single family home, you're around the 200 to 220 range, and if you're in the villas, you're around the 400 range, because you're a joint unit and you're sharing insurances and everything else. So I think that takes a little more in there.
So
But
many
then you
perks.
also have you have a CDD fee too. Just remember that, and everything in Lakewood Ranch is going to have that. You're ranging of 166 to about $200 per month added to your tax bill. But it's I've seen people, it's well worth it just because everything is kept so well. I always
Yeah.
think of Disney and how beautiful it is around those areas. Everything's kept up so well, and this great area. So
Yeah, no, that's a great way to put it. I can show people areas that do not have HOAs or CDDs, and it'll make you second guess sometimes. Like, okay, cool.
yes,
Even though my home is gorgeous, I call it a level 4 home. The surrounding area, like, I can't really control what's happening, right? People can park
correct.
broke down vehicles and not take care of the common areas, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right,
Yep.
so this is a drive that we have. Email us, team@morefla.com, if you want the entire drive. But what we're going to do is talk a little bit about the amenities. Let's do that real
Yep.
quick. Right
Yep.
here. All right. What do we have out
Yep.
here?
So your amenities, with that, $200 to $400, you have everything inside the gated community with parks, dog parks. You got a full clubhouse with a activities director, the pool, the hot tub, the splash pad, and they also have like a conference area you can use for having meetings, or if you want to have a family gathering, you have to put a deposit down for a cleanup fee, and then once everything's clean, you get your $100 deposit back. Full gym available, trails, bike trails, walking trails, fish in the ponds. I mean, pretty much everything. Again, only 780 units. Some of the places we're talking are much bigger than this, but
Dude,
it's
our
a
last
small
video,
community.
that
Yeah,
sports
it's big.
training facility
It's
looking like,
amazing.
the Dallas Cowboys about to run out there. It's going to be
It,
hard to duplicate that.
it's hard to beat that. Yeah, it really is. But it's just you had the pickleball, the tennis, everything's there.
Yeah.
More compact, but all in one area, and
Yeah.
it's great.
I kind of like that though, right? Like you go to the
Yeah.
amenities to go to the amenities. You don't want to have to travel and guess and, it's a mile away from you within your own community just to get from one thing to the next. So,
Right.
okay, cool. Anything else about this community before we hop into a home tour? I know a lot of people just get on these videos and they just probably fast forward straight to the home tour.
Yeah, and I think just knowing the builder in this community, I think you and myself were talking about it, being that really high level 3, you have options. They do have some homes available. I think we looked at last was about 7 models available to purchase that are going to be ready over the next 5 to 6 months, and they have about 3 or 4 villas that are coming due also.
Cool.
I just spoke with my guy over there, so I have one person works in the single family and another person working the villas. And so we just, we try to stay in touch every couple of weeks to see what's going on special
Sure.
wise. And so we always have that information for the team.
Yeah. So and before we hop into the home tour for everybody, like having a rep that's preferred. We have a rep that's preferred out there, but just if
Right.
you don't work with somebody that knows who to go to, it's the luck of the draw when you walk into
Yep.
these communities, when you walk into these model homes. It could be the difference between you getting a good deal or you getting the home that you want or a smooth closing or a smooth transaction. We can't control how people think and act, right? Especially when they're working in these model homes. So the fact that you have a
Correct.
preferred rep for our people is a win. Make sure you reach out to us. So, okay.
Absolutely.
What's the name of this builder?
So this builder is Neal. Okay.
Okay.
So Neal is a Southwest Florida builder. They do a lot of work in here. They have different levels and they have everything in this neighborhood. Now they also have another community building with signature homes, which are custom.
Okay.
But this is pretty much close as the custom you get without being custom, because you still can pick out, you can't change walls, but you can pick everything else out in between. This is the Savannah 2 model. It's about 2,868 square feet. You got 4 bedrooms with a den in this model. This is one of the first models they put in this community about 6 or 7 years ago. Still a great looking property. Love the floor plan. lots of open room. When you're in this, you feel like you can throw parties, the way it goes out to the pool, the way it flows to the pool. All the windows come all the way back.
Yeah.
It's
Very interesting how it just, let me see if I missed something here. So right when you walk in, you're greeted by all of the entertainment, right? You don't have to kind
right.
of go down the hall, and I don't know if that's good or bad. It's just something that pops out to me right when I see
It's
it. So
different.
I'm
It's
interested in
different. Yeah.
seeing how the flow is, honestly. Usually we tell
Yeah.
everybody, look at the home, listen to us, but from me to you, I'm interested in seeing how this flows because that is different. That really is.
Yeah.
And you normally see these types of things with, I'm saying local builder, but you're saying this is a Southwest Florida builder, right? So you have these big
Right.
national builders, and then you have these builders that actually understand the area, understand what people want and what people need,
Right.
and they can adapt quickly. And that's what I really like about. I'm just gonna go ahead and say local builder here with this one.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Neal, him and his family have been, around for a long time. They purchased a lot of property right across from, there's several new big communities that are opening up over the next 7 years.
Cool.
And I have some, I mean, our team has pretty good connections, but one of the young ladies that works there used to work in the restaurant business with me. And now she's one of the top people in the signature model. So we stay in
That's
touch
awesome.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
And she gives me like the little insight, like, hey, by the way, this community is coming in 4 months, or this one's coming
love it.
in, 12 months. So
Yeah, no,
good, good, good,
that
good
helps
builder.
out a ton. I'm assuming that's the den right there. Let's see
It
here.
is. That's the office den.
Cool.
You notice normally, you'd walk in, you have a door right there in the door, but they just wrapped it around. So you're
Yeah,
kind of right there. This is interesting. They have this. I don't see this very often. They put that little work area. Now
yeah.
that's optional. That is
Okay,
optional there. If you want to make
cool.
your laundry room a little bit larger.
Yeah, that
Um,
little nook area is pretty cool, right? Like that's like do
yeah.
your homework, sit down. Like you don't want to like I have a 16-year-old daughter and I have a 2-year-old daughter. I don't want
Okay.
my 2-year-old. I don't want to lose eyesight of her, right? When she's doing
Right
stuff like
there.
you play right here, I'm gonna cook. So that's perfect. I like that.
Yeah, it's good. And yeah, these do a great job. These are the taller ceilings in here, like you'll get with a nice, nicer builder. You're not going to feel so cookie cut in
Yeah.
here. You're going to feel like you got a little bit of customization, even though it's a product builder.
So for everybody out there, right? Like I think we highlight so much of like the deals that we get people, right? Like we got them this rate, we got them this much off of the home, and that is something to kind of be proud of. But for
Sure.
all of our clients out there that not only watch our videos but that work with us, they understand that the real work happens after the contract, right? There are so many inspections, whether it's with the county or whether the builder is going to call them your walk, right? Like before we put the drywall up, come walk through your home so I can show you where things are. We like to take advantage of those opportunities to conduct outside inspections because I'll be honest with you, as much as I love helping people buy homes and navigating the process, I am not a home builder. So I don't
Right.
know every minute detail that's supposed to happen behind the walls. I'm learning, but we get an outside home inspector to come in and then generate that report. As much as we like this builder, as much as I'm talking about them being local, I would still say human error is still involved in all of this stuff. So when you reach out to us, these are some of the steps that we'll go through to make sure that you get the product that you do want.
And we always recommend that too. And I don't care how good the builder is. We just did that $3 million home we were talking about. We had 3 inspections during that period through all phases of it. Money well spent. And the other side of it that you touched on us being so familiar with the builders is, as realtors, we have to build rapport with the construction managers. So I've had
Yes.
some that had 5 construction managers through the process. Since we've been inside these communities so much, we give that construction manager respect. We ask questions, we ask for permission instead of just taking over. And then we create a really good vibe for our customer with the construction manager.
I
So
like
they're like,
that.
oh, yes, the more Florida's home team, they're here. Those guys are great because they ask for permission. They just don't do it. We know the process and how
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get
yeah.
them to kind of say, yeah, go ahead. Let's get that
Exactly,
done, Dan.
exactly. No,
You know?
that is a great way to put it. It's especially if you're somebody that's building a home from start to finish, right?
Yeah.
I think I can come off as somebody that's very brash towards construction managers. This is a
Yeah.
great point right here, right? It's like shake the hand, be nice, be respectful. Like you might get a little more in return, right? It's almost like if you're in line to get food and you're nice to the person that's giving you food, they might give you an extra scoop.
Granted, remember, we always got your best thoughts in mind because
Yeah,
we're working towards that. But
yeah.
we know that we have to build rapport with the people that are going to answer our questions for us. So we hope they give us a call right back because we built a good rapport.
110%. So, You were telling us that there were how many homes right now that were move-in ready homes?
So move-in ready homes looks like about 7 move-in ready homes over the next 6 months. Some are
Okay.
different stages. And
Okay.
then there's always lots available you can purchase and start from scratch. If you start from scratch, you're about 11 months on a project.
Okay.
There's other projects in here that you can get in the next 60 days.
Okay. Now, are they, like a lot of builders do, are they offering any incentives that stick out, or do the incentives change as the stages change, right? Are they
So
saying
they
right
do.
now X amount of dollars off of everything? Okay. What do you got?
Yeah, so they do. So, again, exactly. Say that, we had some of our, friends watching, and they said, we got 60 days to move in. It's okay. Here's our 3 options, our
Yeah.
2 builders. Here's what they're offering at this stage of the game. So as we get closer, we get a little more options. But hey, if you really want that one that's 8 months out, well, we know what they're giving for the 3 month one. So let's try to work that into the deal, But because we know each stage they're offering a little more, you get a little more incentives on the mortgage. But if you're cash, let's take that's money somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, right? Like their job is to sell the inventory that's expiring or ready to move in, right? But we know if we have seen, and look at this view, what a gorgeous view. But if we
Yeah, that's
have
great.
seen the needle go this high for incentives and things that they're giving out, and then they drop it back down here, we at least know the water line. We know, like, we can
Right.
ask for this because I've seen it before, right? I've seen it before.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
no, very nice. Now, I
Definitely.
guess a question that I do have for you is this community right here in Winward,
Hmm.
who is it for, and why would somebody want to go here or not want to go here versus the other 20, 30, 40 that we have in Lakewood Ranch? Like, there's so many options. Why here? Why not somewhere else?
So a couple options here. So depending on it, say if you first of all, if you're working in a family, depends on what your job is, so and it's more bang for the buck, right? What do you need? Some people really want the high luxury and they got to have a specific thing like Lake Club. This is just down the street from Lake Club, but it fits their family because they have the amenities are set up the right way where I can watch over them a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Closer access to downtown Sarasota. We're still working with retirees and families and first time buyers. That's what's nice about this community. It is a smaller community.
Yeah.
If you don't want to live in a community with 2,900 homes, the 780 that's smaller. Now we do have some are even smaller, but
People are
because your
probably
plate,
watching, like, 780 homes, small community. Welcome to
yeah,
Lakewood Ranch, people.
yeah. Well, welcome to Florida. I mean, you're seeing some big communities, but again, they're positioned well.
Yeah.
I think because of Waterside and downtown Sarasota, and there's just so much to do, you don't have to go far to do anything, and you
Yeah.
feel like you're still out in nature with these homes.
Yeah.
I mean, remember 2/3 of all of Lakewood Ranch, the stewardship wants to keep that as nature.
Yeah.
So they preserve a lot of the area for trails and everything, and it's right outside your front door.
We show and tour and meet. I've seen a lot of master plan communities and big ones like this that kind of take up a county or two.
Hmm.
And I would say Lakewood Ranch just strikes me as that American dream community, right? Like,
Yeah.
from me to you, because I've seen communities that are built towards tech and forward thinking, and some geared towards health and fitness and wellness and all of this stuff. Lakewood Ranch to me just kind of like, this is where, like, the American dream is. I don't know why, but that is the feeling that I get.
Well, and their motto, just so you know, and I think we discussed this before, the whole stewardship that started all this, the Coors family, it was always about work, live, play. They wanted this community to be set up as work, live, and play.
Sure.
Everything is here you need, but you have the amazing extra attractions outside of this area, like Siesta Key, Lido,
Yeah.
Longboat, Tampa, St. Petersburg. You have all those extras outside of it, but you don't have to leave. Everything's here for you.
Mother's Day, I might be in your area, brother. I think
All
I
right,
think
all right.
Longboat or Anna Maria, one of those two, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a one section of it right there. So that's it's beautiful there. We got some good surprises coming through in that area too. We're got some really nice listings up in that area right now
Cool.
for us.
Love it, love it.
So
So, from everybody, from me to you, right, people that are learning like I am, I would definitely say, just to piggyback off of what he said, why this community over everything else? Well, from what I've learned, you are in the Sarasota County, area. So the school district, I think a little more desirable, just going to keep it at that. This main artery right here is the quickest route to not only downtown Sarasota, but the beaches. So if you're somebody that likes the beaches, it checks a lot of boxes. Waterside, I adore. I've been there, love it, love what they're doing there. I think it's going to be one of the better town centers in Florida. A lot of these communities trying to do town centers, they actually have it dialed in down there. And it's gated. It's gated. Only one that's gated from what I know right now, south on the Sarasota side. So, yeah, checks a lot of boxes. How do you think I'm doing? Am I doing good?
No, you're amazing, man. You got this down. You got like a steel trap mind, man. You just pick it up.
Okay, cool.
You make us all look pretty good, I tell you.
Well, look, if you guys have made it far, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, what the heck are you doing? Catch you guys on the next one.
Great. Thank you.